Hey, I'm Rob from JTLpodcast.com, and this is a quick look at my first impressions of the Quacks of Quedlinburg, which is a game where you are a doctor, a quack in the city of Quedlinburg in Germany, which is a real place. I found that out by Google, the way you found out everything. And what you're doing in this is you're going to be drawing tokens from a bag in order to create a potion. You're putting these tokens in a bowl that's represented on your board. It looks like this. And you're going to put tokens on there, and the further round you go, the more money you're going to make, which means you can buy better ingredients to make better potions in later rounds. And potions also give you points. The better potions you make, the more points you get. Points is how you win the game. And all these chips are in a bag. You start the game with some white chips. There are some white chips of value 1, 2 and 3. You also start with an orange chip and a green chip, and what each chip does I'll explain a bit later on. So the game's played over 9 rounds. You use this track to mark which round you're on. It also brings in other ingredients available to buy, for all players to buy in later rounds, depending which round you're on. Also add some more of those white tokens into your bag, which are very important. I'll explain those in a bit. But a round begins by revealing the fortune card, and this is going to be the fortune that affects the round. For example, with this one, everyone refills their flask at the end of the round. What a flask is and why that's important, I'll explain later, but just know for now, this is a very useful card. And one of the other examples of the fortune cards that I found by looking online, because I can't remember any that we played in our game, they were all just a blur to me now. The one I took the picture of is obviously the only one I can remember, and that was the first round of the game. We had that one. So one of them was that for every time you draw an orange chip, you move it an extra space around when you're building your potion, and that'll make more sense when I come to explaining that how you make your potions. So after you've done the fortune card thing, you look at these on the board. These are rat tails. You can see the little rat tails hanging down between the numbers of the scoreboard, and from round 2 and onwards, you're going to look at these, and this is sort of a balancing mechanism. So here you can see a corner of the scoreboard, and there are rat tails at intervals, as I said. And you move your rat token in your bowl a number of spaces ahead of your droplet, which is the little water droplet symbol, equal to the number of rat tails between you and the player with the most points. So here there is one rat tail between green and blue, and so green, me on 0 points, obviously, moves forward 1 space. And there we go, this is my bowl. The droplet starts at 0 in the centre, the rat is 1 space ahead of it. And then that will give you a jumping off point. And now, finally, you've done that, you can now start to prepare your potions. There's several ways you can do this. You can either say player 1 draws a token, resolves that token, and player 2 draws a token, resolves that token. And you can go around like that. That's handy if, say, the first round of a game, if you've got new players, so that everybody can sort of make sure they're doing it right, and everybody's kind of getting to know the rules. You can do it, and I think this is the proper way, I think this is the way they're suggesting the rules, where everybody draws a token, holds their hand out, everyone reveals at the same time, and then everybody resolves their own token in their own time. If you reveal an empty hand, it means you're no longer going to draw any more tokens out of your bag and you're passing for the round. The way we played it, we just drew tokens out of the bag and sorted them out ourselves. We didn't really look at what everyone else was doing, which isn't a good thing, because I think you need that interaction. I think that helps. In later rounds where we're doing it, we're going round 1 at a time because it becomes more important towards the end of the game. But between rounds 2 and, say, 6 of 9, we played it all the way up to 8. We were just kind of free form drawing tokens. So I've got video of that, of a round. I'm going to talk over that now, do a bit of commentary on 1 round of play. So let's take a look at that now. So I've drawn a white 1 token, that's an exploding one. If you happen to get a total number of white tokens 8 or more, then you have to forfeit the rest of your turn. That is a blue token, a level 1 blue token, which means I now draw a token from my bag, and I can choose to put that token back. There's an exploding 3, so obviously I want to put that back and draw the next token, which means I have to play this one. The blue token and the white token I've drawn already go 1 space because they're value 1s. There's another white token, so that goes into the next space again because it's value 1. Hopefully I'll draw more. So that is a yellow one. And when you play a yellow one, if the one before it was an exploding token, you return that token to your bag. So that's got rid of one of my exploding tokens. So I've got 1 exploding at the moment. There's an orange token. Currently, in this game, orange tokens for me at the moment do nothing. They just move my potion 1 space ahead. But they do interact with the red tokens, which I'll get to in a minute. So I've drawn a 2 exploding one there. So that moves forward 2 spaces because it's a value 2. There's another exploding one, so that's moved forward another space. So now I have a total of 4 exploding on the board. Remember, if we get to 8 or more, I have to stop. So there's another 1 blue, so I'll draw a token, decide whether I want to put that back in the bag or not. It's a 2 blue now, so I'm going to move that forward 2 spaces. I did get that wrong there, I do correct it shortly, so don't worry. So with a 2 blue, you draw 2 tokens, you choose 1 to play and put the other back in your bag. So I've drawn a blue and a a yellow. So there you go, I've corrected my mistake. I've played the blue one, so again, I could draw 2, it's a value 2 blue, so I can draw 2 tokens and put one to play and the other back in my bag. I only drew 1 for some reason, unless I put the other one in just back off camera. So that is a 4 green, so it moves forward 4 spaces. If the green tokens are the last or second to last in your potion, when you've finished, they will give you a ruby. So here we go, I'm moving around the board. I still have a total of 4. Now I've got 5 exploding, so another 3, and I'm out, and I know there's a 3 in my bag, so I'm going to push my luck and see what happens. I've got about 7 or 8 tokens left at this point. I've drawn a token, and there's the 3 exploded. So 1, 2, 3 spaces, that's 8 explosions. I've bust. So there we go. That's just me zooming around the board for whatever reason. There you go. That is it. So now every player is going to evaluate their potions on the empty space after the last token played. So here you can see space 26 gives me 10 points. And if I hadn't placed that last token, I would have stopped on space 25, which would give me 9 points and a ruby. And at the end of the round, you follow this nice little handy round tracker underneath the actual round tracker. This is going to show you different phases of the game after you've played your potions. So the player or players who made a potion who didn't explode, those who made the highest value potions are going to get to roll the bonus die. This is going to give the players an option. It's going to be either 1 victory point, 2 victory points, a ruby, an orange token which goes straight into your bag, or you get to move your droplet 1 space forward around your bowl. The next part is to check the black, green and purple chips. These are chips that are going to do something now. So if you have more black chips in your bowl than one of your neighbours, you get to move your droplet forward 1 space in your bowl. If you've got more black chips than both your neighbours, you get to move the droplet 1 space forward and gain a ruby. The green chips, as I mentioned earlier, you get 1 ruby for each if it's the last or second to last chip in your bowl. And the purple chips give you 1 point. If you've got 2, you get 1 point and a ruby. And if you've got 3 or more, you get 2 points and you get to move your droplet 1 space. So it's good to get more of those. And then the next thing is for players to collect income. If there's a ruby on your scoring space, you get to take one of those rubies from the supply and put it in your little bag on your player board there. You earn victory points on that space too, and that little scroll icon there. And you also get the number of the space in money, which is you can use to buy new chips. Now if you bust, you can take the points or the money, but you can't take both. And if you do buy chips, you can buy up to 2 chips, but they must be different colours and they go straight into your bag. At this point, players can use the rubies. They can spend 2 rubies to move your droplet 1 space, or you can spend 2 rubies to flip your flask to make it back full. Now your flask I didn't mention because I didn't use it in my little demo there. You can use your flask to, if you draw a token you don't want to put it into play, maybe that 3 explosion that I drew at the end there. If I had a full potion, I could have flipped my potion face down to show that I've used it and returned that 3 to my bag and continue playing. And play continues like that. As I said, as you progress through different rounds, different chips are going to go into your bag. There's going to be another exploding chip going into your bag later rounds. And at the end of the game, you buy 1 victory point for 5 coins. You could buy a victory point for 2 rubies. You can do that as many times as you like. And whoever's got the most victory points is the winner. It's a good simple game. You're basically just buying things to put in your bag, drawing them out your bag and activating them as they go round. If you draw a token, you can't remember what it does. There's tiles in the middle of the board. You'll see them now. They tell you what everything does, so that's all straightforward, very simple. The fortune cards at the beginning of the game are... not all of them are used. You've got a lot more than there are the number of rounds in the game. I can't remember. I think there's about 24, and then you only play 9 rounds. So you're not going to use every card every game. They're also going to be in a different order. As I said, that one that I got that makes you refill your flask, we got that in round 1, which meant you kind of got a free flask in the first round of the game, which was handy, but I'd rather have had it later on when so I didn't need to spend 2 rubies to refill my flask. But there you go. So yeah, it was very good. There's also the tiles that show you what the tokens do, each of the different coloured tokens. I think they're double-sided. Well, they are double-sided, and they've got different abilities on both sides, so that can be changed up game to game. I think we played on what was basically side A, sort of the basic side for everything, so we didn't play anything on the B side. So next time if we play everything on the B side, the game's going to be completely different that way. Yeah, it was just a really fun kind of light. It is light. It's very daring. I think you should be punished more for busting. I think you get either money to buy new chips or you take the points. And I think I'd rather, if you bust, you don't get anything. Maybe you get the ruby on your little, on the point thing on the track. Maybe you should get the ruby, but not the points or the money instead of one or the other. I don't think you should get any, because there's no danger to busting. You just push and push and push. At the beginning of the game, it does mean that, so what you can do at the beginning of the game is see what you need. Have a look at the different ingredients you've got, see how much money you need. You can push towards getting that amount of money. to try and buy the chips to fill your bag. So I was getting a lot of the blue and the yellow chips. So the blue chips were making me filter. I would be able to draw multiple chips and choose which one I was putting into play. And the yellow ones were letting me put exploding ones back into my bag. So I was kind of trying to keep this train going, get this potion going around the board as much as possible. But at the beginning of the game, I was looking, okay, I need this blue one, I need this much money. So I was just basically piling forward, trying to get that amount of money. If I didn't get the points, I didn't care, because it means that the players that were getting the points were giving me rat tails, so that my potion was starting further ahead next time, which means I could push even further and get even better chips. I'd rather not have that. I'd rather have the risk there of if you bust, you get nothing. That's what I prefer. But I still enjoy the game. Definitely one I want to play again. It's not one I'm going to buy. It's not one I'm going to suggest. But it's like, I'll play that. Yeah, okay. I'll probably, in fact, if somebody says I want to play Quacks of Quedlinburg, I'll probably go, what are they playing? No, what are they playing? Yeah, all right, I'll play that, yeah. There's no reason to turn it down. It is good fun. That is the Quacks of Quedlinburg. Remember to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at JTR Podcast, to find the blog and the podcast at jtrpodcast.com. I've been Rob, aka JestaThaRogue, and I'll see you soon.